todos, mi nombre es Veronica Orndoff y soy originalmente de San Luis Potosí, México. My journey starts in 2011 when I met a handsome man online. At the beginning of 2012, I decided to apply for a tourist visa to come to the United States, learn about the language, travel around United States, and of course, made my boyfriend. At the end of 2012, my husband said if I want to marry him, and of course, I said yes to him. And that is when my life changed forever. There were days that I cried because I was missing my family, but at the other days I was just happy to be here with him. But one of the problems was that my in-laws only speak English. I didn't know English, and I didn't know how important it was to learn another language. So at the beginning, it was very hard to just understand very simple words. Like my mother-in-law was asking me, "Are you hungry?" And I was like, "What is hungry? What is that?" And all the time she was like, "Food, eat, pizza, hamburger." And then I thought, oh yeah, one pizza, por favor. It was just a way to communicate with her. And my husband, most of the time, was traveling because he was working in the oil field. So for me, it was very difficult to go and take some classes in the school. But in 2013, my husband got a job in Victoria, Texas, where he was able to come home every day and live right there in the city. So talking with one of my neighbors, he says something about one of the residents in the neighborhood was a teacher from a ESL adult education school. And I was like, okay, let's go to talk with her. And believe me, I just trying to figure out what she was saying. So I asked her if she can write on a piece of paper the school, the name of the school, the number, and I asked my husband to call to get all the information that I need. So that year, I just started taking my ESL classes, and most of the time I was just embarrassing myself. I was working at Walmart, and I have these funny stories. I was working at Walmart in the food and vegetables department, and it was this guy coming to ask me a few questions about where some products were, and I knew where the products were, but I didn't know how to explain him. So one time somebody asked me, "Hey, do you know where is the milk? Where is the milk located?" And I was like, "I know it's at the end of the hall." But I told him, "Okay, so right now go over here, and at the end of the highway, you are going to see the refrigerator." And the guy totally saw me like, "Are you crazy?" And he asked me, "Do you speak English?" And I told him, "No, I'm sorry, I'm not." And he just smiled and say, "Oh, no worries, you are fine." And I was like, for real, I need to learn English. So in the adult education program, I have a very good teachers, and I was learning very fast. One of one of the professors told me, you already reached all the levels, so if you want, you can start taking some GED classes so you can learn write and read in English. And I was like, okay. And so I just started taking GED classes, even though I have a high school diploma from Mexico, but I have the diploma. And I remember those long homeworks and translating one or two sheets for 2-3 hours and being overwhelmed. But I just start talking to my husband about get some education. And my background in Mexico was in business. I had my own business, and it was for me very hard just to move to the United States and find that I cannot be able to open a business because it was a long process. And I mean, I need a bunch of money to start my business. So I decided that I am going to do another thing that it was to help people. And my second choice when I was in Mexico and when I was young, I was to become a nurse. So I asked my husband if he can tell me how can I become a nurse. But there are several steps that I need to take. And he asked me first, what do you think? Take a first certification, and then you decide if you want to jump to the real profession. And I was telling him, okay. And the school was offering scholarships for CNAs and CMAs, but I didn't pass the exam to start the CNA classes, and I decided I am going to pay it out of my pocket and start taking those classes. I was just brave. I thought I can do this. So I was taking the classes, and I learned so fast that my English was not in that level. My first exam, I got 65, and my professor told me, after this exam, if you get another 65, I need to take you out of the program. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to be out of the program. I'm going to do what I need to do to pass this program. So I worked double. I worked more than other people. But at the end of 2014, I was able to finish the program. And guess what? I got my certification of completion. And same year, my teachers from the adult school, they learned about, I was passing an exam that was so difficult. I got my license, and I just started working at a nursing program. I'm sorry, a nursing home. And so, people start talking, and they just decide to vote, and they select me to the National Adult Education Honor Society. And they select me to give me this honor. And I was very grateful for what they did. Only 5% of the students get this recognition, and I was one of them. Later on, I decided that CNA was not enough, and I want to keep moving. So in 2015, I started taking the classes for the next level of CNA, that is Certified Medication Aid, and I got my diploma in 2015. So I earned another license, and I was able to get a job, a state job in the prison system where I was passing medication. But I moved from Victoria, Texas to Beeville. And that is where I met Mr. Martinez. My schedule was so difficult. So for me, it was very difficult to have a regular classes because I was working 12-hour shifts and my shifts were like so crazy. So Mr. Martinez arranged to find some math tutors, well, one tutor and English tutor, because sometimes I was able to read, but my pronunciation was incorrect. And I remember this part. I have a tutor that her name was Paula Duffy. And she says, all the time I was like, okay, all the time she says, oh, she wants to add everything to Asian, because all the time I was talking about, there is like information and everything I was trying to add Asian. And I remember my niece that all the time say like the Englishon. She needs to learn some Englishon, and I'm like, oh my gosh, she sounds like me. So Miss Duffy helped me to improve my pronunciation at some point. And also I met my math tutor, Miss Cherry McClintock, and she helped me with algebra, because in my exam was some basic algebra and some English. So I need to be able to pass that exam. And it was not easy. So long, I was just be able to be there in Abbeville for 1 year, and my English and my math improved so much that in 2016, I moved from Beeville to Richmond. And in Richmond, I started taking some classes to become a U.S. citizen. In 2017, I became U.S. citizen, and my life just was moving. And same year, I started taking some college classes, because in order to become a nurse, I need to have classes like anatomy and physiology, algebra, and blah, blah, blah. Well, I take some classes, and in 2019, I finished my associate as my Associate of Arts and General Studies. And I mean, I was just happy because I was moving. But things changed a little bit because life happens. And I moved from Texas to South Carolina. And over here, I just started thinking like I'm going to still taking some classes for the nursing program, but I was sick. I was overwhelmed with learning English all the time, and also at the same time that I was learning English, I was learning the material from the school, and it was not easy. So it was in a point that I was very sick of stress, and I just quit. I was not able to finish my nursing dream, but I switched to a different bachelor's where I am able to help people, but in a different way. So I decided that sociology was the best choice for me. So when I moved to South Carolina, I moved to I transfer all my classes and all my credits to the local university, And and during the summer of 2020 and last summer of 2022, I finished my bachelor's of science in sociology. So I can tell you that it was not easy. I struggled, and I cannot tell you that it was something that you cannot do it. I had determination. I knew I can do this. And right now I work, I live in a rural area, and I was able to get a job in the University of South Carolina. So I work under the umbrella of the University of South Carolina, helping the Hispanic community to overcome all the barriers, the language barrier. And one of the things that I love of my job is that I am able to provide and connect with the services that are available in the community, but they don't know because the language barrier is there. So if I am able to do it, you are able to do it. And I remember one of those words and those phrases that it says, everything is possible if you believe it. So I wrote a very short speech that I want to read it. And I hope you take the best of this. Learning a new language can be challenging, but with determination, practice, and patience, you can achieve your goals. Don't be afraid to make mistakes, because mistakes are a natural part of the learning process. In fact, they can help you to identify areas where you need improvement. Don't forget to set achievable goals for yourself and celebrate your progress along the way. Believe in yourself and your ability to learn. Remember that every small step counts towards achieving your goals. Finally, I would like to encourage you to keep learning and never give up. With hard work, dedication, and a positive attitude, you will be able to master the English language. Good luck and happy learning. Bye.